So right now we're going to take a look at a fun one. Now this one there again has a lot of memories for me because it was when King was at his heyday in the 80s. It's Misery, and I remember this one from both the book and the movie because my sister had been reading the book when the movie was coming out, and then she was telling me about it, and then I had actually read her copy. I didn't get all the way through it the first time I tried to read it. I had to go back to it later in high school and reread it, and I had much better luck that time. It didn't catch my attention the first time like it should have. The second time it was much better. So I think I was just a little too young when I tried to read it the first time. But I've got the hardcover original edition with the classic kind of cover with the axe, not a hammer. And I love again this picture on the back of Stephen King. And then I also have it's the kind of a paperback. It's about the same size as the hardcover, but it's a paperback trade. I don't know what the correct term is. If anyone knows, please leave a comment below. There again, same picture on the back. Then I also have the paperback cover that comes with this one. But I also have this one too, which is Misery's Return by Paul Sheldon. It's the faux mock-up of his of the author's book in the actual book, and you can tell it's Stephen King was used as the model of it. And I never knew where this came from. I had picked this up in a store. This was the cover that was on it, and I just happened to recognize, hey, that's Stephen King. And then if you turn to the side, it does say Misery, but and like perfect. I took it, and then later on got this book, and it turns out it is actually in these books. It's just the faux cover under the original cover. So that I thought was kind of cool. I never knew that. So found that. Then we also have this one came out a little bit later in the early 90s, I think. This run of books with this type of cover and this design. And then we have the #1 bestseller Paul Sheldon used to write for living. Now he's writing to stay alive. Author of The Dark Half, Misery, soon to be a Stephen King movie. This doesn't have any photos from the movie itself, but it gives the listing on the back. Who's all going to be in the movie. Rob Reiner is the director. Stephen King. William Goldman is the screenplay. James Caan. Kathy Bates. Love Kathy Bates in anything she does. She's amazing. And then we have the. It's kind of like the matte shiny copy. This one's one of the matte ones, but this is the special $4.99 special price, and it's not even a sticker. It's actually printed right on the cover. So I'm always on the lookout for one of these without that on it, just in case. So that's kind of cool. And then one of the other super cool finds that I came across that I was super excited about, and it's not something you find every day, is I came across Misery in Arabic. And it's kind of cool. You can see on the back, different Stephen King books in Arabic, and of course, the way they read, the way it reads is it reads from, what is that? I can't do my left and my right. So it goes from right to left. So it goes 50, 51, and so you read it this direction. So I think that is so cool. I always love that. Any foreign copy that I can get a hold of, I like to grab those and get those into my collection. I think that is so neat. They usually have the cool artwork. In this case, it's just with the shadow and the needle over the typewriter. I'm like, very simple, but very cool. So yeah, that's Misery. Another good one that is a deep place in my heart. And unfortunately, it dawned on me after I finished the last video when I was talking about Cujo. The kind of interesting thing about Cujo, and I really meant to bring this up, is he was so early 80s. He was so coked out on his out of his mind. He doesn't even remember writing Cujo. So that shows you how good of an author Stephen King is, that he can write a book and not even remember it, and it's still, a classic. Granted, it's not perfect, but I still think that's kind of cool. So, I'm glad that he's turned his life around, though. I think it has improved his writing a bit. But just a neat, interesting Stephen King fact. So, hope everyone's staying safe and keep reading.